So we're going to talk about teaching songs. We throw that term around, and I don't know if everybody even ever addresses what those are. So they are short or very simple form songs. They have a simple combination of elements. There is a reason to sing them multiple times, which could be that they are a game that you're going to play with your students, or that you are going to ask your students to have a response. And those all can be made use of through the 4 stages of learning in our Nova Scotia curriculum guide. They are now preliminary play, label, explore, and create and improvise. When I was first teaching, they were called prepare, make conscious, practice, and compose. Same thing. And those have been a staple in my teaching planning for my entire 35, 37 years of teaching. So we're going to look at 5 new singing games. These are games that I composed for my classroom for various reasons. First one is Owl in the Pine Tree. I'm always looking for things to encourage my students to do individual singing, and so I can do a little bit of assessment and nudge them where I need them to go for their vocal development. And so Owl in the Pine Tree is based on So La So Mi tone set, very narrow with your primary and grade 1 students. And what I was trying to do with this mainly is that we've got the who parts that are modeled 3 times before the solo singer gets to sing it. I'm going to pull a pitch out of the air, and it probably won't be right because I don't have perfect pitch, but I'm going to sing, Owl in the pine tree, ooh, ooh, why are you hiding, ooh, ooh, please help me find you, ooh, ooh, where are you? And then your mystery owl gets to sing, ooh, ooh, by themselves. And the other students will have sung all of the rest of it with you, except for that last bar. And this is going to be played like all of the singing games where you have someone in the middle with their eyes closed, and then they get to look and guess and see who the mystery owl is. They love being the mystery owl, and they love being the guesser. And so this is always a good reason to sing the song multiple times, because everybody wants a turn. And so this puts that so be in the ear of your very youngest students, and eventually you will extract that as a concept. So if we just take that song, how do those 4 stages of learning look with a primary class of students and those 4 stages? Well, preliminary play, they're going to play the game. They just think they're having fun, and they are, and they're just playing the game. Once they've played it for a while, you can start labeling higher, lower, and the same. You're starting with the vocabulary attached to what they're actually doing. So when a student says, you know, where are you hiding? Ooh, ooh, I might stop and say, I sang, where are you hiding? And the other student sang, ooh, ooh. Was it higher or lower than my voice? And I'll take my hands and I'll show them, and they say, oh, yours was higher, theirs was lower. Right, here we go. And we play the game again. There's no correcting. There's no saying, no, that wasn't the right pitch. It's just labeling, and you're making conscious. And then once they are able to label higher and lower and recognize those differences, you can start asking them, can you move your voice higher? I sang, where are you hiding? And you're saying, ooh, ooh, can you go, ooh, ooh? And then they go, ooh, ooh. Say, thank you very much. Was it higher? No, it was the same as it was before. Great. And on you go. Again, you're not doing this to correct or change what they're doing, but to practice and label. And then finally, when they are able to do high and low and recognize the difference, then you get to compose. I love this aspect. I started in primary with my kids. Once they know what those are, they can start manipulating what they know, and that's what the composition is. Everything a composer does is manipulating what they know. When I write a song, I'm manipulating stuff that I know. I don't write hip hop music because I don't know hip hop stuff. But if I did, I would manipulate that and create my songs. So they're just writing high, low songs. This can be as simple as putting a piece of string on the floor and getting them to put their shoes either above the string or below the string, and then sing it. I walk along with my yardstick, meter stick, and we sing high, 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 low, 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 high, high, low. And I love watching the students when they figure out that they have control over what we're singing, and someone will come up with the idea, let's put them all high. And they start navigating amongst their peers and saying, put yours high, put yours high, put yours high, until they have all put them high. And then we sing it, and then they laugh. But they know what that's going to sound like consciously. You can also use, I have these spot dots. Those you can put above or below a string or a skipping rope. You can use magnets on the board. You can use erasers. You can use pencils. You can use kids. You can have them stand up. You can have them sit down for high and low. Anything that you can show visibly, high and low, and you can sing it. You can do that over and over and over and over again with your primary grade 1 students, and you are composing. And then I like to tell them, go home and tell somebody you were a composer today, because that's a good thing for them to share when they're at home. My next song that I wrote was Open All Your Windows Wide, and this was to replace Bluebird, Bluebird, or to augment it. However, the last line of Bluebird, Bluebird is, oh, Johnny, I'm so tired. And if you're singing that with your littles, it's a big jump, big leap, a wide range, not sound sets, tone sets that you're trying to do with your students. So I've changed mine to be much narrower in its scope. So open all your windows wide so that I may come inside, in and out, and then fly home. Thank you for the visit. So you have so, mi, mi, re, do. So you can use that mi, re, do when you get into grade 2. And that is just another game song for you. I have also written something to replace Doggy, Doggy, Where's Your Bone? It bugs me. It's always bugged me that we sing over and over and over, somebody stole it from my home. It feels to me like I'm normalizing the fact that, yep, I stole it. It was me. Here it is. This is fun, whatever. And so I just have my dogs digging in the ground, and they're happy when the bone is found, and we're all helping them. I have written extensive instructions how to do dogs hide bones with 3 bones. It means you have 3 kids getting turns and only 1 guesser, but you have way faster turnaround time for your individual singing. Dogs hide bones. You've got dogs hide bones underground. See them dig down, 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 down. Dogs hide bones underground. They are happy when they're found. Who has the bone? I have the bone. And if you have 3, who has the red bone? I have the red bone. Who has the blue bone? And so on. The one thing I like about this is that dogs hide bones can be then used in grade 2 when you're trying to do so, mi, do, and it's very, very present there in the opening bar where you need it to make that a conscious concept. I was most grieved when I was on a Decolonizing the Music Room page and heard that Chicken on a Fence Post Can't Dance Josie is considered to be politically incorrect to sing. I have an absolutely fun game that I like to play with my older students, and we do 2 circles. We have 2 people outside the circle, and we have a chicken in the middle of the center circle. This one happens to squeak, and the 2 people walk as we sing. The 2 circles go in opposite directions, so there's movement. You're not touching anybody, you're just walking. But at the end, then you either put your elbows out so you touch and close the circle, or you can touch shoulders. And there have been 2 people in each circle that have been chosen to be the gates. And they're just going to hold their hands up. And the 2 people outside the circles have to run in through the gates and rescue the chicken. And they become the chicken champion. And so my older students love this. And it's a great way to introduce, practice, reinforce ticka-ticka and ticka-tee. And this song is There's My Chicken. It also has a do to do octave jump in it, which is lovely to be able to isolate and talk to your children about. And so this is my replacement for Chicken on a Fence Post. So you have, there's my chicken sitting on a fence post. There's my chicken sitting on a fence post. There's my chicken sitting on a fence post. Oh no, what'll I do? My old chicken's getting loud and cranky. My old chicken's getting loud and cranky. My old chicken's getting loud and cranky. Oh no, put her in a stew. And then they run and they try to get into the middle and rescue my chicken. All right, there's my chicken. And my last new singing game is Old Back Door, and this one replaces John Kanaka. Now apparently Kanaka is a derogatory term for a certain culture of people in Australia. I put a link to the Wikipedia definitions just so you know I'm not making this up. And so this one replaces that, and I wanted to be able to continue using the dance that I've done with John Kanaka for years. So you've got I am going to see my neighbor. I'll be knocking on the old back door. I am going to ask a favor. I'll be knocking on the old back door. Old back door, old back door. I'll be knocking on the old back door. And the first part, you're just doing 2 circles facing a partner, an inner circle facing out, an outer circle facing in. And you just stand and sing, I am going to see my neighbor. And you do a stamp, I'll be, and then ticka ticka, knocking on the old back door. And at the old back door, you're going to actually have one of the circles shift their location and get a new partner. All those instructions are in. It is actually a package called 5 Singing Games. And that is there's the link, donnandandy.com. And it's called 5 New Singing Games. You can download that. That's printed music and game instructions. There is no audio track involvement with those because those are singing games. Never ever accompany those. It's just in the air with the kids. All right.
Singing games are such a great way to create a musical foundation for the students that we see in our music classrooms, either in elementary school or in our vocal studios. The students think they are just playing a fun singing game, and they are playing a fun singing game, but they are having the repetitions that we need to establish some musical memory for them and create a library of melodic and rhythmic elements from which we can extract concepts at a later time. This is a strategy that I learned as part of my Kodai training way back at the beginning of my 37-year career as a music education specialist. The core of all that I've done in my music classroom over almost 4 decades has been Kodai based. Now, I do draw from other methodologies and I consider myself to be fairly eclectic in my approach, but some of the teaching precepts that I learned in Kodai methodology has just been so fantastic as a core for all that I have done. One of the things that Kodai advocated was that we should be using the music that is familiar and part of the culture of our students. That was much easier to do many years ago. Now in our classrooms we have much more culturally diverse populations that are in our classrooms, and we also have way less of those old singing games that are part of our everyday culture. So as music teachers, oftentimes we end up teaching those singing games and making them become familiar to our students before we can then go back into those songs and extract the concepts that we want our students to learn. So if there are songs in the traditional repertoire that are now no longer culturally or socially sensitive to the student population that we are teaching, or if the students just don't connect with those songs, they're no longer relevant to what the students understand or the way they think, then we can push those aside and we should be able to find more up-to-date music that is still pedagogically sound, that still presents those simple concepts in simple teaching songs and singing games that we want to use with our students, but they are more up to date. I'm hoping that the 5 songs that I have created and presented to you today can help step into that niche for you and help you create a more up-to-date library of singing games that you can continue to use with your students. If you go to donnandandy.com, you will find a downloadable PDF where we have provided the printed music for these singing games and the instructions of how to play the games. There are no audio tracks because the singing games traditionally are played by the students just singing and moving, and there is no accompaniment, so I haven't created any audio tracks to go along with those. But you will find the printed music and the game instructions at donnandandy.com. We'll put the address up here. You will also find at our Donna and Andy page many other songs that are suitable for recitals, concerts, assemblies, thematic units, and I do invite you to go through those songs and see what you can find that will be of interest to you as you create music with your students, either in your elementary music classroom or in your vocal studio. Wherever you are with your students, whether you are in an elementary music classroom, a vocal studio, online, or in person, I hope you are able to have a great day making music and make music a great part of your day.